This gluten-free Mapo Tofu is a super easy weeknight recipe that's tasty, delicious, and healthy. So for the ingredients, we've got 3/4 of a cup of ground pork, 2 tablespoons of Tamari soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of fermented black beans, which I purchased on Amazon, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch with water. In this recipe, I'm using a Korean fermented red pepper paste, and I'm using that because it doesn't have any ingredients that might have gluten in them, like soy sauce. A lot of the Chinese red pepper pastes that you would use tend to have soy sauce in them and therefore have gluten. So this Korean version doesn't have anything that would have gluten in it, and so that's why I'm using this. And the combination of the fermented black beans gives us a similar flavor to what we would get with the Chinese pastes. I don't use chicken stock very often, and so I found this very convenient premium bouillon powder, which is also gluten-free. It's got a great taste to it, and I'm going to be making a video on how to make a sort of instant-style top ramen with this that is also gluten-free. Then we've got 5 cloves of garlic, 2 tablespoons of minced ginger, 1/4 cup of cilantro, and 1/4 cup of sliced green onions. And then, of course, 1 package of soft tofu. So the first thing we want to do is take our tofu out of the packet. You don't need to press it or anything, just pull it out. Slice it down the middle, then slice it into quarters, and then slice it into about 1-inch cubes. Next thing we want to do is just get some water boiling here. I love using this induction burner. It gets water boiling so fast. Add some salt in there, and then we're just going to let our tofu boil while we prep the rest of our ingredients. So about 15 minutes or so, we're going to let the tofu just boil there in the water, and that's going to help smooth out the flavor of the tofu. So I've pulled the tofu out. I've prepped my ingredients. The next thing is to just start cooking. I got this new wok recently, and this is one of the first times I've used it, and the seasoning is so incredibly good. I'm going to have to do a review on this wok later on. Anyways, throw in your pork, fry that up, and get it just slightly browned, mostly just cooked all the way through. Add in your ginger, fry that up a little bit. Add in the garlic, add in the red chili paste, and fry that up and stir that up really well. Next, add in your chicken stock. I'm using about 1.5 cups of chicken stock here that I've made. And then next up, we're going to add in our black fermented beans. I let these soak basically the same amount of time that I was cooking the tofu for. Dump that in there, stir that up all really well. Add in the soy sauce, and then carefully add in the tofu so that we don't break it up. And then you just want to stir the tofu really gently so that you don't break the tofu cubes. And then we just want to let the tofu simmer for about 7 to 10 minutes. Man, it's looking delicious already. Next up, add in the frozen peas and carrots, and let that cook for about 5 minutes to let the peas and carrots cook all the way through. And finally, add in the cornstarch, stir that up real gently. This is going to thicken up the sauce and give us that great look and consistency. Then add in the green onions, stir that up. And we can actually turn the heat off, and the last thing to do is just add in that cilantro, give it one final stir, and it's ready to serve. This is a fast, easy weeknight meal that can be served over rice. It's even great just on its own if you're on a low-carb diet. And I definitely think this recipe is worth a try, so give it a shot. Hey, not bad.